What up, YouTube? It's Shy Wager here doing some North American Pickems. Haven't made a video in a while, but why not just start right now? We got the playoffs for North America's coming in. It should be a very interesting time. Lots of strong teams in the week. I guess Brazil's teams have been cut out moving into the playoffs. MIBR versus 100 Thieves, I feel like a hot matchup for everyone. We got some fans on both sides. I think 100 Thieves has improved a tenfold in their weeks 4 and 5 specifically. This one comes down to maps. I've been looking at the maps for both these teams. I think very similarly to Navi versus Vitality, which just happened today in the MEA. We're going to be looking at Haven, Ascent, and Icebox. I think Icebox, MIBR kind of rolled these guys a little bit. I feel like they have a bit more experience on Haven as well. I think the Cortesia Masterclass on this map is just so much fun to watch. I'm going to be leading MIBR for this one. I'm not sure what the order of the maps will be when we're walking into things like this, but we're going with MIBR. Sentinels versus C9. Everyone's coming in with this, C9 is looking so good. C9's improved, upsetting Sentinels. For some reason, sending Sentinels on this lower bracket run, but I might actually be sticking with the masses on this one and going with Sentinels. I feel like they have a really good idea of how to approach certain maps. Yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah. I forgot I was gonna call. I'm not gonna lie. Sentinels versus C9. I think that Sentinels versus C9. Fuck me, man. I was on such a good roll, bro. Fuck. Sentinels versus C9. So what was I even talking about, bro? Fuck me. And things were going down. Let's get back into the flow. Sentinels versus C9. Now, for some reason, people have been slotting in C9 as this crazy upset team when it comes to Sentinels, and how these guys are just going to be, winning this matchup not only, but then moving on to even give G2 a challenge. Hold up, 1 second. Side show. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid. What is up? What is up? What is up? Makes boy Hayden Solso. We're recording a YouTube video. We're just gonna keep going in. Thank you. I'm not bald, no. I got hella hair. I got lots of hair. I just got hit with a Revlon ad, raid in the ads. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Scroll, Sagetsu, Toaster, Diversion, Paint Chips, Abvi, Aiden, the Night Kraken, Ace, Donut, Mistu, Fitch, Peepo Boo, Just Fode, Super Duper Chad, Rohan, EPC, Full Grace, Spaghetti, Free for All. Welcome to the stream. All right, let's keep it going. Sentinels versus C9. So when it comes to Sen versus C9, I have a feeling that C9 have just been slotted in as this upset team against Sentinels, and for some reason they're powered up. Now, don't get me wrong, their weeks 4 and 5 were much better than the rest of their performance I saw at the start of everything. I feel like this team has grown to be more confident in their shots, where they're putting people. Their Lotus looks a little bit better, but for me, I still think Sentinels, in the form they're in, with the comps they're using on some of these maps like Haven, with the Zekin on Neon now, their Flash Dash with the fast lane, with Breach, I'm putting Sentinels in playoff form, man. They've been here before. They want to keep rolling in. We're locking in with Sentinels. G2 versus Sen specifically, I'm glazing G2. I'm talking about putting butter on those pancakes all the way to the grand finals. I feel like Sen might upset in the GFs and the BO5, but a BO3 with G2, when they're strong, when they're focused, especially against a strong team now. I mean, I know they've kind of faltered on that surfboard a little bit, but I'm locking in with G2. We'll talk about the lowers just for a second and go back up to crew. 100 Thieves versus NRG. Now, I could be massively disrespectful and stupid here. Lock in NRG just a little bit because of the fanboyism. But for the first time in a long time, I want to take the Pickems maybe just a little bit seriously. So in thinking about how NRG have rocked in, how many times I've kind of had confidence in this team, and how much they've let me down, and looking at how much the 100 Thieves have improved, even just looking at the map pool in total, what NRG picks is usually like the strong suit for their enemy team for some reason. I'm locking in 100 Thieves. I don't know what maps NRG could win on. Maybe there's a pocket Icebox in there, but I feel like Cryo just fries on that map anyways. We'll go with 100 Thieves, man. Talk about a team that could have illegal things done to them, and then talk about the illegal mastermind himself, Asuna, on the other side of things. It's just kind of over on that sense. So we'll lock in 100 Thieves there. Now, Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. The question is, are EG going on that lower bracket run straight away to Toronto, right? Is that what we're going to be seeing from this team today? And are C9 kind of in their same narrative as playoff chokers? That's the other question we're going to be looking at in terms of what narratives are starting to start within this lower bracket. That's a hard question. When I do math tests and there's a hard question, I fucking skip that shit and go straight back to the first page. Crew versus MIBR. Looking at Crew versus MIBR in specific, maybe I want to lock in with Crew here. because in playoffs and you know the way they were looking in the split overall, it looked good, right? But MIBR, I feel like, have had more of an identity of how they approach the game. They got scary Osboss, where like I swear it was Crew who had the interview where they said, yeah, to deal with Osboss, we just go to the other site. And if that is still the situation there, if I'm not misreading that, I just feel like MIBR are walking with a little bit more aura here. I feel like they have the stronger players. What happened to Crew against that 1 week? I think it was like week 4, week 3, where they just faltered and almost, you know, they lost a straight up matchup they shouldn't have to whatever team they were facing. I'm blanking out right now, but brother, send Crew to the dungeon. We're rocking in with MIBR, you feel me? Let's lock into, I think, one of the best matches to watch here so far that I think a lot of people are hyped for. We saw it a little bit before. It almost leaned one way that we thought it wouldn't. It's the MIBR versus G2 matchup. For me personally, I'm looking at G2 locking in the finals. I talked about the buttered pancakes. I'm on my second appetizer here at IHOP. I'm not stopping. I think BO5s don't start till the grand finals, right? And the lower finals. So in a BO3 again, especially after Sentinels, and especially because MIBR have played this much so far. They have played at least 4 maps of Valorant by now, and G2 have only played 2, just because of the reveal here of the GOAT Anders, of the GOAT Josh RT, and their other analyst, I keep forgetting his name, it's Slice or something, maybe it starts with an S. Someone can help me out in chat. I'm looking at G2. We'll be talking to the chat in a little bit as well. Thanks for all the follows once again. We're going to rock with G2 in the grand finals. We're going to rock with them beating MIBR to get there. Now, because of this, we do have MIBR and G2 locked in. I feel like that is, you know, what a lot of the people are saying in the streets anyways. These are 2 of the teams that are going through. I've heard some Sentinels talk. I've heard some C9 talk. And I think that is the conversation down here. There's so many teams that can make it. This is a crazy gauntlet. Let's see how it goes. Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. Let's lock in to a different matchup that's maybe a bit easier. Let's skip the math question again. Sentinels versus 100 Thieves, the NA Classico. And the question is, have Sentinels, or basically have 100 Thieves leveled up to the points of winning this Classico? I think the last time I saw this one might have been over in Kickoff, or the last one that I remember of this was in Kickoff, where these guys played the most disgusting sewage-filled split I've ever seen in my entire life. It made me question wanting to co-stream in general the entire year of Valorant. But I'm glad that I did, because I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot right now. But genuinely, the first times these guys kind of, you know, structured up against each other, it was rough, man. And this one, I still believe Sentinels has a good thing cooking right now. I feel like past split, a bunch of their other maps seem more refined than 100 Thieves. I'm locking in with Sen, and that's with no glaze. That's like just a dry Sentinels pick. We walk in again. C9 versus EG. It's time to answer the hard math question here. And in my opinion, I feel like the rise of the gaseous EG is a bit, you know, bigger than the liquid form of the adaptive C9 that can fill. You guys know the Bruce Lee quote, right? Be liquid, form the glass. I feel like EG are cooking so hard that the room's gassing up. So gases rise faster than liquids flow. Listen, you have to have some type of vibratory logic when things are so close between 2 teams, and I feel like they are between 2 teams the way they're approaching this. Personally too, Potter timeout buffs go insane. I'm rocking EG with this one based off the aesthetic vibes. When it comes to in-game maps, yes, I could sit down here, do the analysis, but just listen to me real quick. EG versus Crew, pink versus blue, it just fits. Let's rock with it. And I know this is also blue, but it's light blue, and I know it's light pink. I mean, it could go both ways here, honestly. I'm rocking with EG. Let's just say EG, you know, goes through the lower gauntlet as well and meets Sentinels. Not much analysis on the Crew versus EG role. I know I'm massively disrespecting Crew here. I mean, the question is how far do EG make it? If I'm putting EG against Sentinels, which is a little bit of a blasphemy, honestly, over Crew, I have to pick EG to go to lower final, right? And for them to make it. I think that's what it is. And honestly, at the altar, I'm leaving. I'm not ready to make that commitment. I'm not marrying the wife. We have to rock with Crew here. I think Crew, off a loss as well, very good in terms of a bounce back, get very confident as well. If they're losing uppers and fighting EG, I feel like that is that is a strong Crew. Now, I might give this to EG if this was uppers and Crew never lost a match yet. But I feel like a losing Crew versus a winning Evil Geniuses is like just Crew wins. Like that, the Crew has a stronger role there. Now, Sentinels versus Crew. Do I have a dice or something? Do I have to lock into the mainframe? I might just have to. I'm gonna have to fucking just lock in to the mainframe here and see exactly what we're doing against Sentinels versus Crew. It's a hard call, man. This is genuinely a hard call. I have no idea what to do here. I genuinely don't know what to pick, and I have to pick them. I have to do something. The show must go on. Man, I really want to see Sentinels at Toronto. I want to have a fucking gyro with, like, I don't know, John QT. I want to dap up Adverso though and introduce him to Laziz Shawarma. There's so many things I want to do here. You know, when it comes to the gameplay perspective though, Sen versus Crew, I feel like Sentinels still has a little bit of a the fucking Sen aura, man, versus Crew Esports. I gotta call it. I call it wrong usually though. I don't know what to do here. Am I a glazer? I'll turn to chat for this one. You know, a lot of analysts don't really do this, but I really believe in the community real quick. What do we think in the chat room that we see right here? Maybe you can pick for me. Is it Crew or is it Sen? We can blow it up as well and see what's good. We're seeing Crew, we're seeing Sen, we're seeing John QT is cute. EG, Sen, Crew. EG wins Toronto. Crew, I should be counting what's going on here. I don't know. I shy wager. How's it going, Belez? Crew, Sen, Crew balls. It's EG, bro. Unfortunately, Sen. It's C9, says Jano. If you pick Sen to this point, they might as well make a successful lower run. Do a pull. What Goblin said. You might not be wrong, chat. You might not be wrong. I gotta stand on some business here. Crew wishy-washy. Let's send Sen to Toronto. You know, let's send to Toronto. Maybe they don't make champs. Let's just do that real quick. That being said, maybe we need to go back and edit one thing. Maybe C9 do beat EG if EG don't make it far. Maybe my upset's just not correct at the bottom here. Maybe we hit this with a Crew win and that looks a bit better, giving them some validity. Maybe that's the wave. But I look to the responses and I'm seeing what's going on. Maybe this actually we're gonna stick with what we're sticking with. Boom. It's not even about appeasing the masses. But the story for Sen clapping back at champs if Crew win. I mean, I'm struggling on this one. There's gonna be a transition in the YouTube video anyways. I gotta stand on some business, shy wager, please. If Sen are beating 100 Thieves, if Sen are bouncing back, are they going through the lowers or is Crew? Honestly, holy fuck, I'm about to do it. Pink it up. And MIBR beat them, and then G2 beat them again. It's been done. It's been done. I said it, and that's how it's going to happen. Vamos. The Brazil takeover is here. The LATAM takeover is here. And that's what we're rocking with. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, that's also cool. I'm right. But we're going to be submitting this. Hope you guys were able to follow my theories. There were some, you know, factual things happening in the beginning, but then after the fact, we kind of, you know, got a bit silly with it. But that being said, this is the NA script. Now, today, we're going to be watching MIBR 100 Thieves. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's already a VOD of this on Twitch, and hopefully I'll be transitioning that to a VOD channel on YouTube as well. We were just talking with Sideshow TMV, talking about a bunch of things, favorite colors, love, rationing foods in war times. Many things happen on the Twitch channel, so jump in on Twitch, see what you like, and YouTube streams will also be coming soon. I know someone in chat was asking about that. I read all the chat messages, so yeah, follow, like, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.